The fallout from Quebec's plan to charge higher tuition fees for non-Quebec university students continues. More criticism seen in the French media. Did you catch La Presse and Michel CJAD's column? That was titled "Shooting Yourself in the Foot." The condemnation is also coming from the business community and politicians in Ottawa. For François Legault and the CAQ, well, François Legault says he looks at the number of Anglophone students in Quebec and he feels that it threatens the survival of French. Others argue that this message will hurt Montreal's overall international reputation. Let's find out what Michel Leblanc thinks about all this. He's head of the Chamber of Commerce of Metropolitan Montreal. Michel, welcome back to the show.
Hello, Elias.
So, what's your take on this one?
Well, first, it was a surprise for most people when Minister Derry announced last Friday the plan. Then, as universities Concordia and McGill contacted us, clearly they're very worried. And the signal clearly here is that the hike, the increase is such that it will make our universities, the English universities program, not competitive with the rest of Canada, with other universities in Canada. And it will or might discourage also international students that would have envisaged coming to Montreal. Now, it's a drama for universities, clearly, but also it worries the business community because when we hear that, first, it means that, we'll have less students coming from outside of Quebec and universities while we have a labor shortage, while we would want to have more people coming and integrating in the workplace, in society. Eventually, it will also mean that our reputation might be at risk, a reputation that we are a welcoming city. Clearly, Montreal has been on a roll about the reputation of being a very, very appealing university cities. That in all those ranking, we see that students in the U.S. and the rest of Canada, all over the world, are looking very favorably at Montreal as a city destination to study. So that is part of what we want. We want people across the world to see Montreal as a good business place, as a good society, and we would like to have as many talents coming here. And of course, our job then is to try and convince them to stay and also to learn French, also to integrate in the community. But the first step should be to attract them and then try and work as hard as we can to make sure that they feel comfortable, that they learn French, and that they can work and live in Quebec.
Michel, off the top of your answer, you mentioned the word surprise, and I just want to talk about that for a bit. Are you saying you're surprised about the decision, but also that there doesn't seem to have been much consultation? Like, when you say surprise, are you talking about this coming completely out of the blue or the decision itself?
Well, to be honest, my job is to be aware of things. So I knew something was coming about universities. I did not know the magnitude of it. I did not know the specifics of it. And clearly, because I was aware didn't mean that people were aware or leaders in the business community were aware. And I hear from universities that they say that they did not see it coming or not with such an impact. So clearly the surprise is from universities, it's the level of increase. From the business community is they did not see it coming. And then it means that everybody's reacting right now saying, where does it come from? Are we discussing or is the decision taken? And I hear business leaders that are mobilizing and want to come public about their concern. And clearly their concern, again, as what I'm saying, is they're concerned about availability of talent and they're concerned about reputation for Montreal and Quebec as a welcoming city for international students.
We're with Michel Leblanc, the head of the Chamber of Commerce of Metropolitan Montreal. Michel, we're now basically at a week of this. The news of this came out on Thursday of last week, became official on Friday. So now we're at a week of this being a story. Do you feel that the heat that the province is now getting, the provincial government's now getting in media, not just, from Anglo circles and the rest of Canada, you're seeing it in the French media as well, and you're speaking out and a whole bunch of other people are speaking up as well. Do you feel that the heat could get the government to reconsider this decision?
Well, I think, my experience in those situations is we'll see if the business community comes out very strong. And sometimes, they call me. Well, now they're calling me and they're saying, well, I have to make sure that the voice is heard. I'm telling them, well, if I'm alone in this, it might not be sufficient. So we'll see in the next days whether business leaders, and of course the Anglo community business leaders are very important, but I will say that the French community business leaders are very important in this as well. Now, will they make themselves heard? Then we need solutions. It cannot just be, okay, government shouldn't do anything. And universities themselves, and I spoke with Concordia and McGill, they were planning on putting in place programs to make sure that those students coming from the rest of Canada or from abroad, that they would learn French. One could say, well, why didn't you not do it before? And clearly do it now. Make sure that everybody sees that as a group, as a society, McGill and Concordia are part of us. And they understand what needs to be done. And let's make sure we propose another approach, that it doesn't have to go by such an increase in tuition that they don't come, but it comes about the fact that if they come, if they find this place attractive, if they want to live here, well, we provide all the tools for them to integrate well, and that includes learning French.
Michel, what is the worst case scenario, whether short term or 10 years down the road, that you fear from this decision?
Well, the worst case is we have such a hike in tuition fees that enrollment diminishes a lot. Now, it's undergrad studies, so it would take a few years before we would see the real impact on the labor force, but that would mean from a business perspective that you have access to less talent. If you look at master degrees and PhD levels, well, some of those students that would not come, might not come, or might not stay for master or PhD studies. And eventually, as you say, 10 years down the road, well, we might have a reputation of a city that is less open, less international. And part of our recipe for success that we put in place for many years now is to make sure that we are this international city, that people come and feel the international flavor in Montreal, and it's our strength. So I'm afraid that we will fragilize one of the ingredients of our very good recipe for success.
Michel Leblanc is the head of the Chamber of Commerce of Metropolitan Montreal. Michel, merci beaucoup. À la prochaine.
À la prochaine. Thank you.